is my buddy's Subaru. And as you can tell, it's missing an engine. For the last 2 years, this car has been sitting, rotting away, collecting nothing but dust, so I decided to pull the engine with no experience. Big mess, big mess, big mess, big mess. We also pulled apart the interior of the car so that we could vacuum and clean the carpets. Then we turned to the inside of the engine. The pistons, as well as the valve head, were disgusting and caked in carbon. We cleaned those off, rebuilt the driver's side of the engine, all while having never built an engine before. So we have no idea if we're doing this right. But there's only one way to know. I guess we have to do the other side. Let's go! Seeing that we've done one side of the engine, we have a relatively good grasp of how to do the passenger side of the engine. First is disassembling everything, but this has to be done in a specific order to help prevent from warping. It's ideal to keep track of how things come out so that they can go back in the exact same order. We cleaned up the top, masked off the coolant lines, and started cleaning off one of the pistons with a plastic scraper. This is what they've all looked like at the beginning, and this is what we're trying to get them to look like. Far better. So it's cleaning off the other one, cleaning off the valve head, and reassembling everything back in that order. And just like that, we have a fully built EJ25. Thanks for watching, goodbye. Oh shoot, we can actually put this in the car.
Yeah, we can.
Holy cow, that's like terrifying to think about. Now here's what we have to do is we have to put the freaking timing belt on.
Okay, let's do it.
Originally, to hold the cam gears into place while torquing them down, we were just going to use this tongue and groove wrench. Till Dax had a better idea. So we took a quick trip to Home Depot. We've got the right hex heads now, and we also got a strap wrench. And what this is going to do is that is going to hold down the cam gears so that we can properly torque this down. If the rubber starts to slip, then the rubber starts to die rather than ruining the cam gears, and then we don't have to go to Subaru and spend heaven knows how much amount of money on new cam gears. We're gonna finish getting this on, then we are going to clean out the interior of the car. We're gonna finalize that. We're gonna clean out the engine bay, drop the motor, start rebuilding this, and we will have all the parts that we need. There we go, just like that. See, look. This is how they do it at Subaru. Unfortunately, it's not quite how Subaru does it, but it seems to be doing just the thing. The strap wrench goes around each cam gear. Using our torque wrench, we tighten them all to 70 foot-pounds. Now it's on to the other side. The timing cover on the rear goes into place, and the cam gears have to slot into a very specific location, otherwise it won't properly hold. As you can see, inside here, there are 4 oil slots and 1 gear slot. Those will match up with the top. It gets pressed in, clicks into place, we make sure it's in its position, on goes the bolt, around goes the strap wrench, and she gets tightened to that desired 70 foot-pounds. Now looking on this belt, we have a silver and a black marking here, and on the other end, we have another silver and a black marking on the belt. This shows us that the belt goes on the engine like that. We marked it this way in the last episode to make this almost foolproof for timing the engine, so that if any of the gears were out by even 1 tooth, it would be very noticeable and we would be able to see it. Now, everything seems to be in alignment, and we're feeling quite confident. So, it's releasing the tensioner, giving it a few good rotations, checking to make sure everything's moving, and now we can have some fun. You want help? No. Yeah. This is kind of like a dummy way to check if there's compression.
Oh, there she goes.
That's what we're looking for! Yeah! While we were having fun checking the compression, you can hear the engine breathe. But we ran into a problem. Man, the hamster that runs in your engine is strong.
Yeah, it is.
Because you see that.
That just slipped a tooth.
Do you know why? Because that's pulling tension.
Is that okay that it just slipped a tooth?
Oh. Yeah.
We have to retime the engine. It's okay.
Ah! Well, we're learning about tension. Okay.
Let's flip it back around.
Ah! If you don't know about engines, they have to be perfectly in time, otherwise these valves are going to crash into the pistons and cause a lot of problems. After redoing the cam gears, the belt, the tensioner, as well as all the pulleys, we made sure that everything was right. And this tiny bracket right here, if we put it into place, there's a high probability that the belt never would have slipped gears.
There you go.
So now with the engine timed and the valve covers back on, it's time to move on. This is what we're going to be working on now. We've got the driver's seat, the passenger seat, and the floor mats. They could use a little bit of a cleaning. The passenger side of the car also still needs to be done, as well as the back seat. We'll focus on those after we get these done. We've got a carpet cleaner that's got some attachments in here so that we can get these. So let's make this look pretty good. At least that's the hope. I guess. As you can tell, these seats are disgusting. So we're using a conditioner and a handful of different brushes, as well as the same carpet cleaner that we used for the driver's side, to clean out as much as we can. There's this one spot in the passenger seat that did not want to come out, but after a few passes with the conditioner, it seemed like it was looking a lot better. Now these rugs were really simple because they already had mud covers over them. Now to the interior. Dax didn't want these wires in the car anymore because they went to an old sub or speaker that he never had to begin with. Using a brush and a conditioner as well, this is going to make the car smell brand new. And that's what we're looking for this car. We're trying to make it in the best condition possible. And now we're on to the engine bay. Off comes the hood. And out comes the starter motor. We're gonna get this tested so that we can see if we need a new one or not. While that's getting tested, we're gonna use some hot soapy water to clean off the strut towers as well as the rest of the engine bay as best we can. The strut towers were super easy to clean, but this subframe of the car was disgusting and covered in oil and a little bit of some old power steering fluid. This is gonna be typical where power steering lines tend to be and directly under the engine bay. Transmission bell housing gets a little bit clean, and the starter motor goes back in. The engine bay is now clean. It looks far better than it did before. It's not perfect, but this is a darker color and it looks far better, and all of the oil and grime is off of the bottom, and the transmission bell housing is far cleaner than it's been in probably since it was installed. So with this all done, the engine should now be ready to be dropped in. But what we have to do is we have to replace the flywheel, and the new flywheel in our 6-puck streetable racing clutch, and our new diaphragm, because our old diaphragm broke, are all in this box. So we're going to pull that out, put the new flywheel on, put the new clutch in, the new diaphragm, and then it's getting the engine back into the hoist, lifting it up, and dropping it back into the car, which is really scary to think about. Now we're getting to the fun part, trying to get the engine back in. Goes back onto the hoist, stand comes out, and the old flywheel gets removed. Golly, that's heavy. Now we're gonna clean the inside of the engine where the flywheel goes. The engine mounts go back on, both the passenger and the driver's side, and now this is our new flywheel. This needs to be cleaned off and have as many contaminants as removed as possible. We're just going to simply bolt it into place, and now to change out the clutch release bearing. The old fork comes out, the pin gets removed, the old bearing gets removed, and the transmission spindle gets greased up. The new one goes in, the fork slides into place. This is the clutch fork pin. It slides in between this slot right here, slots into the release fork, and this allows the release bearing to slide like so. That's what we want to see. The dust boot goes on over it, and now all the bolts holding in the new flywheel get some red Loctite. This is the pilot bearing. This helps keep the transmission in perfect alignment with the flywheel. And this is our clutch. This is going to slot into the special tool like so and slot into the flywheel. This way we can get the diaphragm into place and everything stays. One of the things about this clutch is it's a copper ceramic, so it is going to scream until it's broken in.
It's gonna be really rough. That's gonna bite, dude. Oh my gosh.
Now our new clean diaphragm comes into place and it slots into the flywheel's pegs using these holes. We are now at the height of the turning point. We have the new flywheel in. I made sure that the teeth were the same as the old teeth so that the starter isn't gonna have any problems. We have the new streetable 6-puck racing clutch in and the new diaphragm on. We have this special tool right here, and this can now come out. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying, because now that clutch is just floating in there.
I'm stoked. I'm feeling real good. I'm so excited. I'll carry the excitement for the both of us. Be excited.
I'm trying to be excited, but I'm so stressed because the engine is now going back in the car. We've made sure that the engine is timed even after our little screw up. We got the starter tested, we got the battery tested, we got the alternator tested, and guess what?
What?
O'Reilly said that all 3 of them were basically in brand new condition, and they've been sitting for 2 years.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's gonna save us like what? 400, 500, 600 bucks.
Yeah.
So that's good. We're looking at the good stuff. We're gonna open the garage. It's gonna get really cold, and then we're gonna put the engine in. And I'm so scared.
Don't be scared.
I'm so scared.
Here we go. You ready?
Oh, I'm not ready. Now things start to get very real. Everything goes into place. The hood comes back off after being put on. The car gets hoisted, and the engine starts to slot into place. Again, we have to make 1,000 adjustments and have to be very careful with everything that we do.
All right, buddy. Ready?
Okay,
Slow.
very slow, very slow, very, very, very slow. Ooh, that's scary. Oh boy, too fast, too fast,
That
too
wasn't me.
fast.
That wasn't me. It's just the hydraulic fluid. Hold on.
At this point, every move needs to be calculated properly. There's the pegs at the bottom of the engine that have to slot into the transmission bell housing. We have to make sure that those are in a line, as well as the center transmission spindle with the clutch, the flywheel, the diaphragm, and the pilot bearing. But for some reason, it's all not slotting in. So we remove the transmission torque arm bolt, but it's still not going. So we made a few adjustments. Ooh. Now with the engine pulled back out of the bay, we have to make a whole ton of adjustments once again to slot the block into its position.
Oh, it's falling in.
We're making better progress than we've ever been before. Now, it's time for the transmission bolts. The starter motor is going to be the first one, and we're going to put all 8 of those transmission bolts in, but we aren't going to tighten them just yet. We're just putting them in to make sure that everything fits. I had to wiggle my way under the car in order to get the other transmission bolts, and the ones just above the drive shafts are not easy to access. With a little bit more adjustment, it was starting to look good, but it wasn't quite perfect.
They made it together.
The motor mounts are not going in how they should. I'm gonna go back under the car and I'm gonna start tightening them down. So we've got this one right here that connects the starter motor. We've got another one that connects the starter motor, the tranny, and the engine. We've got this one right here, and as you can see, they're in, but they're not seated all the way. I'm praying that those motor mounts drop, because when those motor mounts drop, we're set for the night. We can call it. We can rebuild the engine. And then she runs.
Then she runs, dude. Oh! Oh!
That shifted a lot.
Suck! Suck!
It's in alignment.
Hello. How are you today?
Hello? I am under the water.
Please, sir.
Okay, so that's the motor mount right there. So that's the other one. The other one's gotta come in a little more. Maybe we could just push the engine and get it to come in.
Maybe.
Okay, go ahead and just drop it just a little bit.
It's dropped a little bit.
It's dropped? Okay,
Yeah.
keep her going.
You're gonna have to pull in the other one. Oh!
Oh, she just popped in.
Am I good?
Yeah?
She's still coming. She's still coming.
Okay, keep her coming. Let me know when the engine's on slack. Yeah, those are all the way through.
That's slacked.
Chain is slacked?
Chain is slacked.
Woo!
You!
We just installed a Subaru engine. Where are you, you sweet mother? Look through the engine. That is hot. That is so hot. Oh my gosh.
God.
We did it.
Oh, Lord.
The engine's installed. Oh my gosh. What an adventure this has been. Now, we just need to get it to run. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe so that you can see us start the engine. If you like this, give it a thumbs up and write in the comments what we did wrong along the way, because we probably did something wrong. So let us know, and we'll see you in the next adventure when we get this engine started. Cheers.